Hi, Dr. D. Pasquale with NSI Stem Cell, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about another autoimmune condition called multiple sclerosis, or MS. This is an autoimmune condition that affects our central nervous system. Again, with immune or autoimmune issues, basically this represents immune dysregulation. There is a reason why that happens. It doesn't happen for no reason. One of the primary theories or primary methodologies for immune dysregulation is simply damage to the mucosal lining of our gut. It's called leaky gut syndrome. And here's what happens. When we eat food, it gets broken down into smaller and smaller parts, and essentially those molecules enter our bloodstream directly because there are gaps between the cells, leaky gut. When that happens, we mount an immune defense. And the reason why is because we don't want foreign particles in our bloodstream. That's a bad thing. So when we mount an immune defense, essentially our immune system becomes really on high alert for very long periods of time. And we create this immune dysregulation over time where we're producing antibodies on a regular basis. When that happens, then there's an external trigger because not everybody will develop an autoimmune disease. I understand that. There are genetic susceptibilities and then there are environmental factors. So when there is a trigger, and it can be a viral infection, it can be a bacterial infection, it can be a serious emotional event, it can be a traumatic event, whatever the circumstances are for the individual, basically then their immune system goes haywire and starts to attack healthy tissue. In this case, it's central nervous system, which is a really big problem. It is brain and central spinal cord. And when that happens, we get a myriad of different symptoms, tingling and numbness, poor muscle activity, inability to walk at the end stage, speech pattern disruption at the end stage. I mean, there are many things that can happen because now we're affecting our neurology. Remember, our neurology controls pretty much everything in our body. So when that happens, it can be very scary. And then at the end of the day, I mean, we can be sort of reaching out for many different interventions that can stop the progression. But what I'll tell you is that traditional medicine doesn't typically stop the progression because the mechanism by which this problem occurs is never addressed. What we do in this environment is we don't treat MS. And I know that that sounds really silly. What we do is we put a patient's physiology in the right state. We promote healing. We promote immune regulation, and as a result, we can put these types of conditions into remission, but we have to use a different set of tools. The most powerful tool we have for immune regulation are mesenchymal stem cells, which we harvest directly from the individual themselves, so they're genetically congruent. When we implement them, yes, we can see dramatic regulation of immune function and reduction in inflammatory markers, which are consistent with this disease. But then it's really important to understand that we want to maintain that remission. And the only way to do that, again, is to fix the mechanism by which it occurred in the first place. Teach that individual about lifestyle medicine and what they can do and the role that they play in terms of their health long term. And if we do those things, we can most certainly improve the health of the individual and stop the progression of a debilitating disease. And I think that's really exciting.